Hi, so today we're going to do the spinning hook kick and the jump spinning hook kick tutorial. We're going to go through some progressions to build up to the move, the technique of it, both from a tricking perspective and from a combat sports perspective. And then we're going to get into it being used in combat sports offensively, how to set it up, and then some examples of how to defend against it. So broadly, the technique of the spinning hook kick is going to be quite simple. You're just going to turn to look at it, bring your leg up and whip it round. Now there are going to be several different variations of this, which I'll get into later, depending on the trajectory of the strike, how straight your leg is, and other sort of minor variations. Turn, and then whip the leg around. So to break the move down into progressions, if you're having problems with it, the first progression will be just a standard hook kick against the target. Now, sometimes this is called a basic move, but you can generate a lot of power if you drill this well. However, to build up to the spinning hook kick, this is going to be our first progression, so I'll just go through it quickly. The leg whips up, and then you hook back against the target. So one progression that I find easier to work on the straighter leg version of the spinning hook kick is the spinning axe kick. So it's generally a bit easier, and it just helps to work on the straight leg aspect of it. So I'm just going to go through it. If you lead with the elbow slightly, that can prevent the opponent from rushing in on you without you necessarily compromising your technique too much. So it'll be there, and then whip round. So some of the variations of the jump spinning hook kick depend on how straight your leg is. If you're going for the straighter leg, then it's a similar trajectory to a spinning axe kick, but at the end, you'll just want to slant it so it's just coming down and striking across at a diagonal against the opponent.
Like this, you jump up and the angle of the foot changes just before impact.
And then with the more bent leg, I find it's possible to just get a more circular motion, and I find that has a bit more whip, a bit more kind of like centripetal force with the human body, so it's just a little bit more power, but the disadvantage of that is that it's going to be a shorter range. And there is also a variation, which I guess is using more gravity, where you take yourself down, you do a kind of a front flip with that. I can't do that move actually. I'm working on it a little bit at the moment, but it is another variation. I think that probably has the most whip if you can do it, but the disadvantage is obviously that you take yourself down and you could be in a vulnerable position if it doesn't work out.
So this is one version where the attacker takes themselves down whilst they do it.
Doing a forward roll or a front flip whilst doing it, the strike comes almost directly down. There are varying degrees to which you can emphasize the forward roll or the front flip. Some of them come at more via diagonal than this. So this is another spinning hook kick setup. You can see he tracks the way he's circling towards his right and lands a spinning hook kick, as opposed to another example where somebody might be throwing it out wild. So in terms of defending against a spinning hook kick, the first line of defense will be keeping your arms up. If you have the least time to react, then you're just going to be able to block it probably to one side, either side really. That's not the ideal method of defending, and because of the trajectory of the move, it can potentially whip round the side even if you do have your arms up. It's really a question you need to react to it. But if you do see it coming, if you've got sharp reflexes, you see the top Thai boxers and top kickboxers in the world, they have very sharp reflexes, they're highly trained. What they generally tend to do against this move is just to lean back out the way. And with the lean back technique, a poorer method of doing it is just to lean back at the waist. That leaves you kind of vulnerable if things don't go so well. A better method of doing it is you're just going to lengthen your stance slightly, transfer the weight into the back leg, and then lean back at the same time. So it would just be like this.
as opposed to just going straight limbo.
So in terms of defending against the spinning hook kick, here you'll see Samar defend against it. He's going to transfer his weight to his back leg and lean back. There it is.